A single name has ignited a firestorm in the Vatican. Has Pope Leo XIV just redefined the Church's future with one bold move? From what corner of the globe are you watching this video? Drop your country in the comments below, because the ripples of Pope Leo XIV's first actions are crossing borders, stirring hearts, and sparking debates from Rome to the remotest parishes. Your voice is part of this unfolding story, and we want to know where you stand as the Catholic Church navigates a pivotal moment. Without fanfare or grand pronouncements, Pope Leo XIV has stepped into his role as the successor of Peter, and his first decision has sent shockwaves through the faithful. It's not the number of choices he's made, but the weight of one appointment, a name that speaks louder than a dozen speeches, a signal that's already reshaping conversations within the Vatican and beyond. This is not a pontificate content to coast on tradition or bend to external pressures. Pope Leo is carving a path with quiet conviction, and his opening move is a deliberate foundation, one that challenges assumptions and demands we pay attention. Curious where this new papacy is headed? Stay with us as we unpack a decision that's as bold as it is understated. In his first act within the Roman Curia, Pope Leo has appointed Sister Tiziana Malletti as Secretary of the Dicastery for Institutes of Consecrated Life and Societies of Apostolic Life, a role that carries real governing authority, not just symbolic weight. This isn't a token gesture or a nod to modern expectations. Sister Tiziana, a seasoned leader who once served as Superior General of the Franciscans of the Poor, now steps into one of the Church's most influential administrative positions, overseeing religious orders worldwide. This is a shift, not a symbol, a concrete statement about the Church's future, delivered not through words, but through action. Pope Leo is drawing a clear line. Sacramental authority and administrative leadership are distinct, and he's unafraid to entrust the latter to a woman, reaffirming a path opened by Pope Francis's reforms in Predicate Evangelium while rooting it firmly in his own vision. This appointment is no accident. In a church where every move is scrutinized, the first decision of a new pontificate sets the tone for everything to follow. Sister Tiziana's elevation is a bold imprint, quiet, yes, but unmistakable. For those who hoped Leo would mirror the past, this is a wake-up call. For those who feared a continuation of Francis's legacy, it's a sign of continuity wrapped in fresh purpose. And for those expecting a cautious, predictable start, it's a reminder that Pope Leo is moving with precision, not hesitation. His choice speaks to a church that's dynamic yet faithful, inclusive yet rooted, pastoral yet purposeful. But what does this mean for the faithful, and why does one name carry such weight? Let's step back and consider the context. Pope Leo's papacy began with gestures that stirred hope among traditionalists' reverent ceremonies, a nod to the Sacred Heart of tradition, and a demeanor that felt like a return to dignity after years of division. His opening words from the balcony were gentle, calling for unity, peace, and a renewed missionary zeal. To many, he seemed a bridge between eras, a pope who could heal wounds without reigniting old battles. Yet, with Sister Tiziana's appointment, he's shown that his vision isn't about appeasing factions, it's about reorienting the Church toward its mission. This move, rooted in Francis's emphasis on synodality and the role of women in governance, challenges the notion that leadership belongs solely to ordained clergy. It's a theological statement as much as an administrative one, reigniting a conversation about the Church's identity in a world hungry for clarity. But Sister Tiziana's appointment is only the beginning. Quietly, without headlines, Pope Leo has made other moves that reveal his priorities. In the Vatican, he replaced Monsignor Vincenzo Paglia with Monsignor Baldizzaria, a subtle transition, but one that hints at a shift in direction. In the United States, he named Bishop Michael Pham to lead the Diocese of San Diego. Born in Vietnam and shaped by the cultural diversity of his diocese, Bishop Pham embodies pastoral wisdom and unity. Having served as vicar for ethnic communities and diocesan administrator, his elevation is no mere continuation. It's a deliberate choice to entrust a divided American church to a shepherd who builds bridges, not walls. Across the globe, in Peru, Father Miguel Angel Contralaru, a Marist priest who has walked with the poor, was appointed auxiliary bishop of Callao. In the Philippines, Father Dave Dean Capuchas, a missionary pastor, was chosen to lead the Diocese of Infanta. These are not random selections, they're a pattern, a vision of a church led by those who live close to the margins, who know the smell of their sheep. What unites these appointments is a return to the Church's incarnational heart. Pope Leo is lifting up leaders who don't just govern from afar, but walk shoulder to shoulder with the faithful priests, bishops, and now a woman religious who embody mission over management, service over status. This isn't a revolution. It's a reclamation of the Church's original call, a church that's universal, not Western, pastoral, not bureaucratic, present, not distant. By choosing voices from the peripheries, Peru's suburbs, the Philippines' coastal regions, San Diego's diverse communities, Leo is reminding us that holiness and wisdom aren't confined to Rome's marble halls. They're found where faith meets struggle, where the gospel becomes action. This vision challenges a deeper mindset, the assumption that leadership flows only from the center. Pope Leo's choices suggest that the Church's future lies in those who've lived the gospel in forgotten corners, not just those trained in ecclesial corridors. Sister Tiziana's role, for instance, isn't just about governance, it's about what her presence says to the Catholic imagination. In a church where symbols matter, her appointment as a woman religious in a position of authority speaks to the dignity of every baptized person, the call to service over power. Similarly, bishops like Pham and Contralaru reflect a leadership that listens before it speaks, heals before it divides. These are not political moves. They're pastoral judgments, inviting the faithful to look beyond headlines and see the spiritual weight of governance. Yet, this path is not without tension. By engaging directly with debated issues, synodality, women's roles, and a mission framed in dialogue, Pope Leo is navigating a tightrope. Traditionalists who hoped for a return to doctrinal rigidity may feel unsettled by his continuity with Francis's reforms. Progressives who cheer his inclusivity may still push for bolder changes. And centrists seeking peace may wonder if his quiet moves can hold a fractured church together. Every appointment carries theological resonance, touching on questions of identity, doctrine, and the Church's witness to a skeptical world. Sister Tiziana's role, for example, isn't just administrative. It challenges assumptions about who can lead and how. In a faith built on sacrament and incarnation, form is never just form, it's substance. A woman in governance, bishops from the margins, these are not just changes in personnel, but statements about what the Church is and must be. Pope Leo's approach is profoundly countercultural in a world obsessed with speed and spectacle. His decisions are not loud, but they're deliberate, planting seeds for a long-term vision. He's not catering to factions neither traditionalist nor progressive, but reaching for something deeper, older, rooted in the Church's earliest models of leadership. The shepherd, not the manager, is the image he's reviving. A bishop, a nun, a priest, these are not just roles but witnesses, entrusted with souls, not just systems. This return to pastoral proximity, to leaders who know their flock's struggles, feels almost revolutionary in its simplicity. It's a reminder that the Church's credibility lies not in efficiency, but in authenticity, not in power, but in presence. But this moment calls for more than observation. It demands discernment. The Church is not a speedboat. She moves like a great vessel, slowly navigating vast waters. Pope Leo's early steps are adjustments, not a new course, and their fruit will take time to ripen. The faithful are not spectators but participants, called to pray, reflect, and live the mission they hope to see in Rome. This is not a time for blind celebration or anxious critique, but for wisdom, patience, and trust in the Holy Spirit, in the Church's ancient resilience, and in a Pope who carries the weight of Peter's chair as a cross, not a crown. So, what kind of church is Pope Leo XIV dreaming of? One that listens before it speaks, that lifts up the overlooked, that shepherds with humility rather than commands with force. His appointments, Sister Tiziana, Bishop Pham, Father Contralaru, Father Capuchus, are not just names. They're seeds of a vision that's both ancient and new. They challenge us to ask, are we ready to embrace a church that leads from the margins, that governs through service, that finds its strength in encounter? Or will we cling to old assumptions, mistaking titles for authority, centers for sanctity? This is the question now before us. Where is the Church headed, and will we recognize its path? Share your thoughts, your country, and your hopes in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe, because Pope Leo's next move might not just shape the Vatican, it might redefine the soul of the Church. The journey has begun, and it's ours to walk together.